Hey everybody, and welcome to the Leia's Lair. Here's our review of Star Wars The Book of Boba Fett, Episode 3, The Streets of Mos Espa. So what we liked and didn't like. Well, I really liked the cyberpunk bike gang and their dope retro speeders in like rainbow colors. Like, I want one of them. They were so cool, and how they were like enhanced with machine parts.
Right. Yeah, that was definitely a cool aspect, like that whole cyberpunk theme with them. Like you said, the bikes were all sweet and retro. I really liked that part, and Boba just expressing himself as the new daimyo by being like, yeah, I know you're gonna cut your prices, and he just like makes them part of his cartel, right?
Yeah, for sure. But also, like, I don't know, the one guy who came in was like, oh yeah, this gang is harassing me, and then he's just charging like so much for water.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, he kind of got what he deserved.
Right, but they had to set that up somehow. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we move on to the past, where he goes into to see the Pikes.
Yeah.
And on his way there, we get a nice little Pele a cameo.
Yeah, that was so funny with her 3 little droids.
Right.
So recognizable.
Yeah, and we also get to see the Stormtrooper helmets getting put up.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Mando right there.
Totally.
But yeah, and then it progresses that past plot, and the next part is very sad because he comes back and the whole Tusken village has been just like...
Okay, murdered? Yeah, but I like hated that so much.
Yeah, it definitely was like for me, it was a very sad scene, and I don't know, I just felt like maybe it needed a bit more time with that. It felt like it was a very small part of this episode for something so big. Like, all of us have grown to love this Tusken village and everyone involved with it. It makes me wonder if anyone escaped or anything like that from the village, because we only really get a shot of the leader. We don't get the the cool one with the dreads. We don't get we just get the child staff. Like, I don't know if that's supposed to just signify they're all gone, or if they took some as hostage. We don't know anything really more at this point. You kind of hope that that some are still alive, but yeah, I feel like that scene was very sad. And yeah,
I feel like it had to happen though, because he has to at one point get to be the Boba we see in Mando, right? And that Boba doesn't have a Tusken group with him; he's by himself. So, as sad as it is, I mean, I always hoped that he would just leave and they would just like live their happy married lives.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe he would have never left if they were alive, right? So it's hard to say. Somehow I feel like the one guy must still be alive, Dreadlocks.
Right.
Because they purposely didn't show him.
Yeah.
And I understand not showing the child, but not showing Dreadlocks seems kind of weird. And as we know in the Star Wars universe, if you don't die on screen, you're probably not dead. So
yeah. So I guess we'll find out more as the series continues.
Definitely.
And then after that, Boba Fett gets a terrifying wake-up call from
Black Chrysanthemum.
Right? It's like, oh, that was a nice back to tank. And then all of a sudden it's like, rawr, and it was like, oh my god, like, yeah, that's the worst way you want to get woken up.
Okay, but like Black Chrysanthemum is crazy. He took on everybody. It was like 10 against 1.
Yeah. I'm like, how the hell did this big Wookiee just slip into Jabba, or I guess now Boba's palace,
right?
Past like the swoop gang and
yeah.
Like, I don't know. For me, I'm like, oh, he's quite crafty if he can slip in like that. This big Wookiee just like, oh, let me just creep in here past everyone.
And you see his enhanced knuckles in action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool. I was like, yeah, I'm surprised Boba could live to tell a tale once he had him in that like chokehold or whatever. I'm like, oh, well, Boba should just die from like how strong BK is, but like
Cyberpunk gang to the rescue.
Right. Then they trap him, in the Rancor pit. And then we get an interesting visit from the twins right after that, who are like, you know what? We don't want a part of this. Just have a Rancor and, do whatever you want with BK. Like, we're out of here. I was like, okay, is that really what you think the Hutts would do in this scenario?
Absolutely not. There's definitely like an ulterior motive here. But like, the Return of the Rancor is pretty sweet. I'm into it. And I hope that Boba like trains him and he becomes his like Rancor pet and he can ride him.
Right. It's pretty cool aspects that we're getting because, we're getting more. We've already gotten more with the Tuskens. Now we're getting more with Rancors, and like we kind of knew that because based on episode 6, we get the Rancor, and when the Rancor dies, you get the Rancor Keeper being like no, like so you get to see that before, and it's really cool to see them kind of progress that in here and show a bit more of that. We also get some interesting facts too, about how Tatooine used to be all water. So they are shedding some more light in the Star Wars universe, which is really cool while telling this awesome story. And I definitely don't think that's the last we'll see of the twins or BK for that matter. I actually think BK is gonna come back working for the Pikes or something like that.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I really feel like they hyped him up in the last episode with those very thought out shots of him. And he had some action in this episode, but it was pretty small, maybe a couple of minutes. So I would be surprised if that was the end of Black Chrysanthemum, especially since apparently him and Boba have a past, they know each other. So
yeah, well, it's interesting because you want him. Okay, is he gonna be cool with Boba? He's like, yeah, no hard feelings, bye. But yeah, and he's like, don't work for the Hutts, whatever. And I think that then he's going to take his advice and go work for someone else, a.k.a. the Pikes, and he's going to end up meeting him again. So I don't think that's the last of PK we'll see. So yeah, I think there's going to be an epic blowout between them still.
I hope so.
But yeah,
that awesome chase scene at the end.
Yeah, it was quite wild. Just the driving through this, literally the streets of Mos Espa, like the title says.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get to see the cool 50s or cyberpunk speeders in action. There's just something about the mayor's assistant that you just don't like.
No.
So you're just get this grease ball,
He's so
get him,
swarmy,
attack him.
Yeah.
And there's all these moving pieces right now, with the Pikes and the twins, and everything just seems like you don't know who to really trust right now. In this thing, who's sending the assassins after him, who's doing all this stuff, there's got to be a bigger hand.
Where's the mayor? He's just gone.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting, and I like how the pieces keep moving, and it's kind of like an investigation thing. It's we got to get to the end of this, who's behind all this, and then we get the Pikes arriving at the end, which I think is it means war.
Definitely.
So we're gonna see some cool stuff, and
it's a power move for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know, and then there's also moving pieces in the past, maybe the Pikes were behind sending that biker gang to attack the Tuskens, right? So there might be some more. There might be a bigger meaning behind Boba, wanting to go after the Pike Syndicate. So yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces. I'm really enjoying that part.
So in terms of a rating, I'm going to give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. I do like how much the present plot is now moving forward and how there are so many moving pieces that are, I'm assuming, going to come together relatively soon. I love seeing Black Chrysanthemum and him beating up Boba, and I hope we get to see him again. And I love the return of the Rancor, and I really, really hope that Boba learns to ride him. Nice.
Yeah, no, it was a great episode. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. I thought there were really cool aspects of, the cyberpunk bike gang, and, the BK fight was wild. Return of the Rancor, also very cool, and we're getting more insight into, Rancors and how they operate. So that was really cool. And like you said, the plot's moving forward. It was a really sad scene of the Tusken village. And I would have liked to, I guess, to see a little bit more emphasis of it based on, we had such a heavy episode last week, and maybe they could have just expanded that scene maybe just for another minute or so.
Didn't do them justice.
Didn't do it justice, I felt, but regardless, it was very sad, and it really brought up the emotions. So yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. 7 out of 10. Yeah, I can't wait for next week.
And there you have it. Thanks for watching, everyone. What did you think of this episode of the Book of Boba Fett? Let us know down below in the comment section. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more great videos to come. We hope to see you all again in Leia's Lair.
You are not a Jedi yet.